Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. This is Chris Vaughn, the Content Marketing Director at DigitalSherpa, with part two in this webinar series, which is about content marketing. Part one kind of explained traffic and conversion and how we think about traffic once it comes to our website. And in this part of the series, I'm going to talk about some more advanced content strategies and how a well-planned and designed content marketing program can change your business. In the last series, we learned what does web discovery mean, how do we think about visitor paths and how do we optimize them, and how search engines reward great content on websites, and then how to think about conversion rates with your web analytics. This is a diagram that you probably saw in the last part, and is something that I'm going to be bringing up and talking about throughout this presentation, which is the conversion funnel and how we think about traffic coming to our site, and then how do we think about turning the traffic into leads and converting it. We start with, at the top, the predictable discovery. These are the people that are finding your website, be it through referral traffic or your social media sites or friends or family or word of mouth, or people finding you on the internet by searching different terms and phrases. And then in the middle of the funnel are the people that are getting more and more interested in our business or on our website. Maybe they're giving us information and they're turning into leads. The middle of the funnel is the leads that are giving us the certain information that we can start having real conversations with them about doing business. And then at the bottom of the funnel is what's happened when we've turned those leads into customers, and how do we think about the paths that they took to become customers, the conversations we had, the places on your business website that they looked, and maybe we want to try to repeat and optimize that process for future traffic. In the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to talk about defining the different paths you can take in marketing for your business. We're going to talk about search engine marketing in contrast to search engine optimization. Those are two terms that I'll explain and define. And then we'll talk a little bit about search engine optimization in more detail, about how it works on the page and how it helps you get found online. And then we'll kind of put it all together and talk about building a content marketing program and sending those visitors down that conversion funnel we were just looking at. And then I'll end with some content marketing tips and ways to get started. There's two popular paths. There's certainly more than two, but there's two very popular paths for businesses to think about internet marketing. You can do what's called paid search advertising, which is something you've probably heard of. And then there's content strategies and search engine optimization to try to yield more organic results. The first we're going to talk about is search engine marketing. Search engine marketing is the process of increasing web visibility through the use of ad buying campaigns, contextual advertising, and other forms of paid placement and inclusion. The really popular example of this, which you've probably heard of, is Google AdWords. Google AdWords is a big product for Google. It represents, I think, over 98% of their revenue, and it's the biggest internet advertising product on the web. A little bit about how Google AdWords works is you're a business and you bid for an advertising space by selecting certain keywords and phrases, and then select an amount that they are prepared to pay if someone clicks on that ad. The company then assigns a budget, and that budget is met once a certain amount of clicks are achieved based on the price you've set. The amount per click is decided by Google, and the way they basically do that is they decide how many people are searching for this out on the web, and how many businesses or what kind of competition is there around bidding for those keywords. So obviously the more traffic and the more searches around the keyword and the more people bidding for it, the higher it's going to cost your business every time someone clicks your ad. Here's an example of how Google AdWords advertisement might work. Same thing will happen too for, Microsoft has an ad product and Yahoo and so forth. This is just the example for Google because it's the most common and well-known. You see here a popular query like men's shoes. It's something that we might search for when we're looking for a new pair of shoes or shopping for someone else. You'll notice that first few links at the top are in a yellow box. Google even tells you that they're ads. We see Macy's, Zappos, 6 p.m., some major shoe retailers. And even over here on the side, we see some more paid search inclusion. Some more local ads with Google businesses, JCPenney, KG stores. Again, some bigger shoe retailers. If you're a smaller business trying to sell shoes, or a business that just happened to have some shoes and you're trying to compete for web rank online, It would be unrealistic to think that you could compete with Zappos and Macy's on page one of men's shoes just because of the kind of money and resources that they're putting towards getting this placement. Big businesses spend a lot of money on search engine marketing. And it's getting to the point where businesses are really spending more and more and more. A lot of businesses are now spending more on Google AdWords a month, and they're spending on TV commercials or billboards or more traditional forms of advertising. You see here some companies like AT&T have spent up to $8 million in a month making sure that their ads are placed on the keywords that they're interested in. But that doesn't necessarily tell the whole case. While the 1 and 2 word searches do represent the most popular and the most competitive searches, that's not actually how people really search when they're online. If you would think about how you searched the last time you shopped for something, maybe you're trying to buy a Christmas or a birthday present, are you searching in 1 or 2 word phrases, or are you trying to be more specific and more definitive to get the pages you want? This graph will show you that in July and August of last year, 3 word or more searches represented over 50% of all internet searches. This means while, of course, 1 and 2 words are still very popular, people are learning and they're becoming smarter when they're shopping online. They know exactly what they want, and they're going to sometimes search in 4, 5, or 6 word phrases or even longer so that they'll get delivered the exact web pages that they need. This leads into kind of a discussion of the long tail, which was a theory that was conceived in the mid-1990s by the editor-in-chief of Wired magazine. You might be familiar with it. And he had started to really think about how Amazon.com had become so successful. And Amazon, as he figured, had become successful because they were able to hold a copy or 2 or more of a wide selection of books or products. If you're a local brick and mortar bookstore, you're only going to be able to hold the books that demand requires. You only have so much shelf space. You can't hold very unique books because there's just not going to be people walking to your store that want them. But on Amazon, because they're dealing with a global marketplace and so many people are visiting their site, they could hold the rarest of books and still make profit off of them because the shelf space wasn't an issue. This is kind of how we start thinking about long-tail search if you're a small business. While the 10 or 15% most popular items might be hard to get the desired result with, searches like shoes or men's shoes or women's shoes or dress shoes, there's 80 or 90% of that marketplace that the way people are searching, that's not being fought for so hard. More descriptive phrases like red Nike men's running shoes, or maybe you're looking for a shoe shop in a specific area of town, like boutique shoe store in Midtown Atlanta. This is the way people search, and in fact, these descriptive searches make up more than 80% of the total searches on the internet. And when you start thinking about building content and building a strategy around getting page 1 or 2 on those more specific searches, you can drive serious traffic to your site. Here's an example. Sunglasses, popular search term if you're looking for sunglasses. You'll notice that the first couple ads are paid. Sunglass Hut, Gucci, Zappos, popular sunglass retailers. If you were a smaller business trying to get found online for sunglasses, it would honestly be unrealistic to think that you could place with Sunglass Hut. Cheap sunglasses, Ray-Ban, Oakley, some ads on the side that you can see that are paid for, not the same premium placement as Sunglass Hut has at the top of the page, but still a lot of paid ads. In fact, we'll see that most of page 1 on this particular search is filled with paid ads. Let's make our search a little more specific and see what happens. Here I've added Amazon wish list to sunglasses. This is a way you might search around Christmas time if you're thinking about searching for sunglasses on someone's Amazon wish list or how to add them. You'll see here that the first 8 or so results are all organic, which means they're not paid ads. They're not in those advertisement box. These pages have been served up by Google because Google deems them to be the most valuable pages around these keywords and terms. You'll see that Amazon kind of dominates page 1, but at the bottom of page 1, you'll actually notice the first non-Amazon link is a web page from a company, Real Kid Shades, about how to add sunglasses to your Amazon wish list. Let's click through to that, And we'll just see that they have a blog on their webpage. And they made a simple blog post about how you could add sunglasses to your Amazon wish list quickly and easily. If you came across this site because you were curious how to do it, you also might notice that they have products and they sell kids sunglasses. You're probably already interested in sunglasses because you were searching for it. So now this is a great sales and conversion opportunity for this particular business. And this is kind of how the long tail works. Real Kid Shades isn't going to compete on page 1 of sunglasses, but Real Kid Shades will compete with Amazon.com on page 1 of Amazon wishlist sunglasses. Impressive. How does this all work? The content strategy, how does the search engine find that particular piece of content to put it where it does? So when we start to talk about search engine optimization, the process of improving a web page's visibility to search engines by method of creating unique and valuable content. Content marketers consider how search engines work and how people search online, and then how to create the content that fills those funnels. Some various SEO search engine optimization elements that content marketers think about when they're building and providing content for clients. Of course, the first is quality. Google's number one the thing that Google search engines look for, number one and first overall, is the quality of the content on your page. Is it well written? Is it unique to your business? Are you plagiarizing or duplicating from somewhere else? Consistency. How often are you posting? Are you regularly engaging with your website and the people on it? And then keywords. Are you using the keywords that are specific to your business, and are you using keywords that are directed at the people you want to come to your site? The reason Google really cares about things like quality and consistency is because they consider it, the search engines, well, it is their job to deliver the exact right pages to the person who's searching. And if you're someone that's been using Google for a long time, you'll probably have noticed that Google's gotten a lot better over the last decade or so of delivering the exact right web pages when you're looking for something. And it's because they've learned how to deem what is quality and what's not, through things like, hey, is this website posting consistently, and are they using the right keywords and stuff like that. Here's an example of a page with really good content strategy. You'll see here the topic, getting started, first steps to working with an interior designer. Some keywords that this particular person, this business owner who is an interior designer, would be interested in. You see some really great pictures here on the side that would engage the readers. And then a social toolbar, connect with me on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. All kind of put together in a way which search engines can easily read and understand, but also that the readers and web visitors will really enjoy reading. It's interesting content, it's presented well, and it gives them a chance to share and engage. A couple more SEO factors that marketers think about when building content. Linking, which is a very high priority for Google when ranking pages, is who's linking to your business website. Are you getting links in from Twitter or Facebook? Are you getting links in from other business websites or blogs? Google understands that if people are linking to you, it probably means that they trust you, they consider you authority, they consider you a provider of good content. And Google knows that if other people respect you or think that you're providing that good content, then you probably are if enough people do. So if a really popular website with a lot of web traffic links to you, could really help your Google search rank. Headers and subheaders. When you're writing, you understand what these are, or do they contain the keywords that you need? Do they talk to the search engines in the correct ways? Does your page load fast? Does it look good? Does your URL and the address bar convey the right message with the right keywords to search engines? Here's another web page example, TMS Architects up in New Hampshire. You see they did a blog post about colorful entryway doors, something that they do for clients. A really neat picture, some really good keywords, a lot of sharing opportunities, a well-designed and put-together website. When Google is scanning the web, they come across this particular page, they're going to understand this is a web page by architects who do things like design and build colorful entryway doors, and they're probably going to give it good placement because of that. How does this all kind of tie into how business owners and executives think about when they're considering internet marketing? We all know business owners and executives care primarily about two things. I'm sure you've already guessed the first, which is money, and then the second, of course, which is results. So how do search engine marketing and search engine optimization tie into spending money and getting results? Well, if you're a really big business, it's probably a good idea to do both. It's probably a good idea to maintain your position on search engines and results pages on those very popular searches, even if it means sometimes for the biggest companies spending millions of dollars. But a lot of times it can get very expensive very fast to compete on the keywords you want, which leads small business owners to say, what are some other options? SEO driven content, like we've been looking about, has become really standard for smaller businesses because through the correct research and application of SEO, companies can compete in a larger chunk of the search marketplace and appear on more search results pages. Also, proper content marketing and SEO optimization cost a fraction of what is spent on these really larger ad buying campaigns. Just kind of a little recap and look ahead. We've started to talk about what SEO and SEM mean, what they mean specifically to businesses, how the long-tail search plays into search engine marketing and content marketing, and then how to start thinking a little bit, we haven't got into it much yet, about visitor paths on your website. Now let's really talk about content marketing, which is a strategy that executes the creation and publishing of content on your website. What is content marketing? Simply the creation and sharing of content for the purposes of engaging your current and past clients and then engaging the new prospects. Creating and sharing high quality, consistent, and relevant content to your client and prospects improves search engine authority, web traffic, it drives consumer action, what do you want your users to be doing when they're on your site, and it drives brand loyalty and social following. You'll notice this from earlier. So now we're starting to talk about, we understand the different ways that we can get traffic to our page, be it through search engine or paid search advertising, content, SEO, however we're getting them there. Now that we're there, how do we start to think about converting that traffic? How do we capture their information? How do we provide sales with opportunities to close? There's different ways we can do it with content. What type of content do we need to be producing on our website to capture that information? The first and the most popular form is a blog. Websites from the biggest in the world, Facebook or Google, to the smallest businesses in the world have blogs. Blogs are an opportunity for them to communicate with their clients, to communicate with prospects, to create content that gets found by search engines, to build new keywords, things like that. You see a blog especially is built to kind of house a lot of different little widgets and areas. They're also built, most people don't know, so that search engines can scan them in ways to immediately and precisely convey the right information. There's a lot of tags and headers, things like that on the page that the search engines are looking for, particularly when they're scanning your page. And blogs are neatly and in a good presentation convey all that information to the scanners. And then social networks. I'm sure most of you listening have a social network, at least a personal page by now. Maybe you run a business page too. A great opportunity to communicate on a more intimate level with your fans and followers, ask them personal questions sometimes, ask them about their business challenges, maybe run a promotion or a campaign. Do giveaways to show them that you value them. Webinars, much like this one that you're listening to right now. Chances to spend 15 or 20 minutes really explaining your particular knowledge of expertise to the people that visit your site. White papers. We get a lot of visitors to our site that are interested in social media marketing. So maybe providing a white paper or downloadable file. Here's 50 great Facebook ideas for your Facebook business page. If you're a little stuck and you don't really know how to properly execute or engage with Facebook, here's 50 things that you can do in the next week that will drive engagement and get you going. Case studies. Take a business, maybe a competitor, maybe a friend, whoever, and talk about what they're doing well, what's engaging, etc. Testimonials. Ask some clients to provide some little blurbs about you. Throw them up on your website. It gives your prospects a chance to see that you're an authority and that you're trustworthy. Videos. Post some videos on YouTube. invite your friends on social networks or your website to go to YouTube and comment and watch your videos there. It gives a more personal level of engagement. All of this content creates new opportunity where you can be found on search engines because you're just creating more content on the web to be searched on. And then it answers questions and provides customer support a lot of the time, creates and retains new visitors and leads, and of course establishes an authority in your industry. And all of this stuff is designed to drive those specific consumer actions. What do you want your web visitors to be doing on your web page? Which leads us into, what are some strategies that we can initiate on our web page to get people to take these desired actions? A very popular way that we use on DigitalSherpa is using call to actions, which is simply asking your web visitor to do something specific. If you're providing really great content and a good service to people visiting your site, they won't mind giving you information. They feel like you're doing them a service, that you're helping educate them. They've already kind of put some trust into you because you're helping them in areas that they don't quite understand. So maybe you want to learn how to better educate or engage on Facebook, and you click 50 great Facebook tips, get our free white paper, which takes you to a page with a form on it. Hey, if you want this white paper that we put a lot of time into and that we think will really help you, if we could just get a first and last name and an email and a phone number. For one, it helps us with sales opportunities, of course, but it also helps us to know who's visiting our site, what people are clicking on our site, and how to overall change and adapt our business strategy and to do that optimization. And again, most people will be happy to give you this information because you're doing something really nice and helpful for them. Now that you have this information, wherever you store it, it gives you an opportunity to call and email. Of course, now that they're leads, that they've given you their information, call or email these leads. Offer them consultations. Offer them education opportunities. We found that calling someone and asking them to buy your product isn't the right sales strategy, but if you call people who have already downloaded educational materials and offer to help further their education with things like consultations or just questions, people are very receptive to that. And even if they're not ready to do business, they're going to talk to other people and people that they know in their networks about you because you've been so helpful to them. So now that you understand how content marketing works and how to start thinking about it, here's some tips I would give to someone who asked me, what do I do when if I really want to get started with content marketing? What are some first steps? Define search goals. What search terms will you target? What tools will you use that are available on the internet to let you know how people are finding you online and how you want to be found online? Believe it or not, there's someone at some point in time who has, on the other side of the country, who has put a search into the internet and he's found your website for one reason or another. What did he search for when he found you? Maybe we want to start building more content around some similar search phrases like that. And there's tools like Google Analytics that will show you exactly all of this stuff. What kind of content planning and calendar will you have? I just showed you 6 or 7 different forms of content you can put on your webpage. There's obviously many, many more. There's ebooks and podcasts and interviews and all kinds of stuff you can do. And while creating this content isn't necessarily that difficult, having a calendar and knowing the type of content you need to be creating is. You have to understand what's done well in the past. What's been your previously top performing content? What are some questions you've been asked about your business in person? What's your industry up to? What's your competition doing? What kind of content do they have on their page? What are these keywords you're going to be targeting? Developing a strict content calendar around all this stuff will really drive performance. And then, of course, once we have it all planned, once we know exactly what kind of content we want to write, we have to make sure it's SEO optimized, right? The headers, the titles, the URLs, the tags, the keywords are the right. We're using the right amount of keywords. We're developing the content around the right topics. We're making it shareable. We're giving everyone that reads it an opportunity to share with all their social networks. Remember, all that linking drives SEO. And then a little bit of off the page SEO, which is a whole nother thing in itself, but there's some things that we can do that you'll do on the back end of your webpage. What's not viewable when someone's reading it. But it's some tags and some keywords and some headers and stuff that communicate directly with the search engines from under the hood. Now that we're kind of closing up, and I think if you've seen part 1 and especially part 2 of this, that you're starting to really understand a little bit about how content can help you get found on the web, and you're interested in going into part 3 of the final installment of this series, here's some questions and some tasks I would ask you to think about over the next week. Does a content marketing strategy make more sense than paid search advertising for your business? Go back to where we started. We were talking about the paid search campaigns. Maybe look into what it would cost you to do some of those things, and then contrast it with what a content marketing program would do. What search terms are visitors using to find you now? What search terms do you want to be found by in the future? What sort of content would best engage people that visit your site? And these are the same people that might visit your business or walk in your store if you have one. What kind of things are they interested in? What would they like to see and read? And then begin to think about the paths visitors take on your website or your social networks and how to optimize them for the best opportunities. I'd like to thank you for viewing this webinar today. If you'd like a copy or any of the slides, you can send me an email at cvaughn@nci.com. Thank you.